I'm not mad at that though. I'm not mad at that
Hold
when people say
on.
that at
I
all.
disagree. To me, it go Forest Hills, the off season, then Bourne Center. We're sleeping on the off
Excuse me?
season.
What
You
you
sleep
just say?
the
What
off
you just
season?
say?
Are y'all
What?
sleep?
Welcome back to the TKA podcast. I'm your host, T Baby, Wrestling Geek, Terrence, whatever you want to call me, preferably Wrestling Geek. Um, this is episode 37, y'all. We moving quick, we're moving fast, we still doing it strong. I know as y'all can see, I'm here by myself today. I'm used to have my two co-hosts, Don on the left or Norman on the right, and then Tim on the left. Either way it go, they not here today. They both got really busy schedules today, and it's fine. As long as somebody can hold down the fort, we had to do something. We had to get an episode up for y'all. I'm used to doing this by myself. If you ain't checking me out on Wrestling Geek, my own personal channel, link will be in the description below for that as always. But yeah. Oh, also all of our social medias, mine, Don, Tim's, the pages, our TikToks, my personal TikTok for my Wrestling Geek channel. So all that will be in link in the description below. But yeah, man, we're doing this by ourselves today. We're gonna spice it up a little bit. I'm used to doing this alone, so no worries. I'm gonna keep y'all covered for this next however long this is gonna be. But in today's episode, pretty much we're talking about college football 25. Comes out in July. We already got the news about that. We already got the mini trailer back in February. We're after that. Link will be in the description below for that as always. But yeah, we talked about it. We seen it. It really wasn't much to go over. They showed the new physics. No, they really showed new physics. More so just showing off the new graphics, honestly. Great looking, obviously. They say this game was built from the ground up, and we're here to talk about that. And I got a video I want to show you guys, obviously. And then after that video, I'm gonna talk about how I feel and what my checklist is for this game because it's important. I mean, I don't have anything written down, but I think it's very important that these key components are in the game. It's literally that simple. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get to this specific video. That way, we can get to the next point. But we're gonna get it started. Let's go.
Matt, we're so glad to have you on, man. I already know that your inbox since dropping that newsletter has just been filling up with requests. You've been on Feinbaum, you've done multiple appearances. This is probably the best place to start. What can you tell us that will keep you from going to EA jail about college football 25?
Yeah, I mean, first, thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be doing things like this. It's a pleasure to be talking about a story that's, I think, a fun reprieve for my beat because a lot of what I end up writing about, kind of joke about with ADs and administrators, it feels like the apocalypse beat, right? You're so focused on existential crisis and enormous changes, from one thing to another.
Just so y'all know, you're talking about college football.
It's fun.
25.
What I can tell folks
July.
is that I've learned more information about who is going to be on the cover of the game, which is one of the questions that I get asked. I have been.
Pause. I'm glad this is one part that I really never cared about, considering everything is digital now. Back in the day when I was younger, or when I was a younger kid, I'm kind of getting old. But back when I was younger, first of all, let me change this. Back when I was younger, it never. I mean, back then it was cool because you actually got the physical disc. Nowadays, it's everybody just kind of got the digital, and it's just what's one of cover athletes is whatever. It's cool when you play the game, you log and load into it, and it loads up. But you can't collect it, you can't put it on like your back shelf or anything. So it's just like, but it's still a cool thing. First of all, my personal opinion is going to be Shedeur Sanders. I just think he's going to be on it. Who else better?
Being asked, for months, people are very curious about it. One of the things that I can share is that the individuals are going to be on the cover of this game, and there's more than one cover, are going to be current athletes, which is something that's never happened in the history of the series before. Historically, because you weren't able to pay a current athlete for their NIL, the individual on the cover of the games would be somebody whose eligibility had just completed, or it would be a mascot. It might be a generic, just football player or something. Right? I have a copy of the original Sega Genesis game on my desk. There's a couple of the old PS1 versions where there wasn't really anybody. So they're current athletes. It's not a coach. It's not former athletes. It's not fans, which I think were some reasonable guesses over the past couple of months. They're people that you're going to get to watch play college football this fall.
That cover, first of all, is absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. You just have that on hand. That is absolutely electric. Second question to go with that.
Yeah.
In your newsletter, it talks about, different players, different positions from different conferences. Is that a fair assessment that it's going to be, so there's not going to be multiple SEC quarterbacks. It might be a quarterback from one conference and from another conference. It'll be a different position. Is that how it's going to work, we think, or can you tell us that?
Yeah, that's exactly right. There are multiple covers. There's multiple athletes, and I can share without
In other words, multiple covers, multiple athletes. In other words, multiple dollars for EA to make. You're gonna have your standard 71, then you have your possibly a 91 or 9 times 10, 100, and then 120, possibly 160. First of all, listen, man, if EA even has the goal to charge people that much money, that's pathetic. And the sad part about it, people are gonna buy, so they're just as pathetic.
I think without getting in trouble here, is that those athletes all play different positions and they come from different power conferences. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that there's 4 covers for 4 power conferences. I'm saying that there's multiple athletes, multiple covers, multiple power leagues, but there's only one quarterback. So you could theoretically
Shedeur
have a
Sanders.
Big 12 quarterback and then an SEC
He just gave it
edge
away.
rusher and then a Big 10 kicker. It's not a Big 10. But that would be a thing that can be set up here. So you're not going to see multiple versions of quarterbacks.
Interesting. Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. Now, when it comes to more information, I know everyone's like tugging on your shirt, asking you to tell us the secrets about this game. But EA, when they released that trailer earlier this year, they said, okay, hey, full reveal coming in May. And you and I are recording this at 4:04 Central Time, May 1st. So in case something drops before then, I guess we'll have a different conversation. This is a moot point. But from what you have
It's May
heard, is
7th
there
now.
any further information on when that full reveal is coming now that we're in the month of May?
Yeah, the what I had been hearing internally was that the middle of May was the target. I shared a specific date in our newsletter a little while ago. But what I've learned, and I think many of our colleagues on this beat have learned, is that plans can change quickly with EA, and you might have a date that's tentatively, I don't know, like May 15th. And now, they weren't necessarily expecting to have this much chatter about the cover, right now, right? Like I was able to get this
I think that's a
information.
load of crap. You expect people not to talk about the cover? Come on, bro. If he just said the middle of the month, I think he just said the 15th, so he might have just gave it away. But I'm assuming maybe 16th, 17th, around that. But that's the middle of the month, so maybe no later than the 21st, which is kind of pushing towards the end of the month. So we'll see.
In a way that their comms team wasn't planning on, and so maybe that expedites the timeline. Maybe it changes it. The expectation that I have from what I had been told is middle of May, and that full reveal is going to be a reveal that is much more focused on answering many of the myriad gameplay and feature specific questions that people have. A lot of what I've been able to learn right over the last 2 years, a lot of it's been through open records. It's been through my sources in the licensing industry with on campus, some of it at EA, but you don't get in trouble for leaking audio assets the same way that you might about leaking information about mascot mode or Road to Glory, right? So like there's that's kind of the push and pull of trying to get information about this game.
I was going to say, Matt, when you put out this news on your newsletter, which quick plug again, Extra Points newsletter, go check it out. Matt crushes all the coverage over there. It's why we're able to have this information we have. You're kind of like the voice of the people here. Like you said, this wasn't something that EA put out this release and said multiple cover athletes. Like this was Matt Brown, the people's champ, got this for us. So with that being the case, I know there's still more information you can't disclose, but when we put out on our Twitter page, hey, we have Matt Brown on the show. What do y'all want to know? I mean, all the questions are like, what about this gameplay? What about Road to Glory? What about team builder, conferences, all that? What is the detail or the coolest detail that you are at liberty to share with us when it comes to gameplay?
Yeah, I think a few things that I can share beyond the fact that EA plans to answer a lot of these questions in like 2.5-ish weeks, right? One of the things that I've heard from developers who've been working on this game that's been a priority is this idea of wanting to make the dynasty recruiting mode different, and it is particularly to help.
This is going to be on my wish list.
I want to say like less of a grind, but so the player would feel more attached to particular recruits, right? I guess through many of the previous years of this game, lots of people are playing Dynasty mode, but it's their data would show that the majority of those are only 2, 3, 4 years, rather than people necessarily doing a 60-year-long Dynasty. And so if there's there's tweaks that can be made, so like hey, if you're signing a guy in week 6 and you could see that he runs a 4.2 40. You want to be excited to play with that guy next year. You want to already be thinking about how you can incorporate that person into different packages. And then you want to have some drama and a sense of reward and success as you go through that process. The other thing that was really reiterated to me.
Before he even moved forward, I pretty much understanding that NCAA 14, which everybody's played, the recruiting was garbage. I mean, it went by some stupid skill point set. I think that's so stupidly it was like a big miss, and they missed big time with the recruiting. 13 was better because it was more realistic. So now with 25, you have to find some way to incorporate it easy and hard. And my biggest way I figure you can do that is have an advanced recruiting and have like a simplified recruiting. So you know how some games have an advanced mode and have an easy mode. I feel like they should add that in this game. For the people who don't really care, you got some guys who don't care about the recruiting, they just want to play, and then they want to do the schedules and jerseys and all. They're pretty much on the side just playing the game. Then you got the hardcore guys like us, like me, who want to recruit, who want to do the NILs, who want to get the transfer portal, who want to do all that good stuff and still play on top of that. So I feel like you should spread them between the two. I don't like the NCAA 14 with the metric points and you go by so many points per week and only get more points when they come in for a visit. No, that's stupid. It has to be a way to diverse it to make it even for everybody who likes their style of play. So that's how I feel about it. That's one of my biggest pet peeves with this new game coming out. There has to be great recruiting. It cannot be dull.
And I think it's one of the really fascinating game development questions for this game is how to make this as realistic and accurate as possible while still being fun. And I think you and many of your colleagues at On3 know better than most what an absolute grind roster management is right now in college football. And I think if we made this game exactly how it is in real life, it wouldn't be fun. It'd be way too hard. We'd all have gray hairs. The game would be texting us at 2:00 in the morning to go text recruits or something. It'd be a mess. So you have to figure out, okay,
that'd be kind of cool.
We want this to be realistic, right? We want to have transfers. We want to have NIL. We want to be able to rebuild your roster beyond just high school recruiting. But where is that slider? Where do you set the lines where it's approachable and accessible and still fun? And I think that's part of what the fine tuning process is, kind of at the end of the development cycle, and where that ends up, I think is going to be fascinating, because that's one of the tricky things about making a good franchise mode in any sports game. How to make it, we don't all have to have master's degrees in salary capology.
Yeah, that's a great way to say it. Like, I don't want my quarterback week 4 being tampered with, hitting the portal after the year. Like, I'm okay with tampering with someone else's roster, and hopefully that's something that's involved in the game. But I don't want my quarterback dipping for a nice NIL bag. I think EA has alluded to this a little bit as well. Transfer portal, NIL, things like that. We can expect that in the game. Is that fair to say at this point?
Yeah, that's my understanding. What I've been telling people and what's been relayed to me is that college football is a different sport than it was the last time we had this game. 2013.
There was no NIL. There was no transfer portal. I'm sorry, there was a transfer portal, but it wasn't like now. Back then, you had to wait a whole year, sit out, then you can come back, unless you were like one of those players eligible for like their 5th year. So now you can legit transfer and you playing the next season. So it's a bit different. And the NIL, I'm not mad at it. Get your paper.
Recruiting and roster management. And it's not just NIL in the transfer portal. Signing limits are different. We have multiple signing days, which we didn't have the last time this game came out. The recruiting through JUCOs looked different than it, than it did back in 2014. And also, like, the game itself has changed. The rules are a little bit different.
It's just random advertisements.
Are a much bigger part of a standard college football offense than they were the last time the game came out. How the options run and how common that is looks a little bit different. The distribution of where recruits are and what kind of recruits there are looks different. And so those are all things that I know the development team is highly tuned into and wanting to make those tweaks, right? Like in previous years, if you played for 10 years because of some bug in the game's logic, Army and Navy regularly became like top 10 programs. And
Georgia Tech too.
Regularly see like, what? There's this 4-star guy out of British Columbia, and there's these 2 white defensive backs out of Vermont, and they're both amazing. And I'm not to say that can't ever happen, right? We've
I'm gonna pause the video here because now I really want to get to my part of the video. I know I hate to cut y'all off like that, but it is what it is. Look, but this game to succeed, it has to have, first of all, core gameplay. Simple as that. It has to have the core gameplay. Cannot play like Madden. Cannot be like Madden. Cannot move like Madden. Cannot walk like Madden. Cannot smell like Madden. Cannot sound like Madden. Cannot feel like it. Cannot be anything. It cannot be Madden. First one. Second of all, the gameplay has to be good. If you so-called build the game from the bottom up, the gameplay has to be good. It's literally that simple. So that's big on my wish list. Now for features, this is another big part of the wish list. Dynasty mode, Road to Glory, I guess my team, Ultimate Team, if you want to put that in there, they're gonna do it anyway for money purposes. So Ultimate Team, I guess. But I'm gonna put that Ultimate Team. Road to I would say Road to Glory. What's the one what they had with NCAA 14 with the Heisman? You can go back and do the Heisman thing again. Play like like Tim Tebow, one Heisman, you can play as him, put him on a different team, stuff like that. I love that mode. I forgot the name of it, but I love that mode. Add other things like situations. So if I want to put myself down 35-3, come back and win the game, I can do that. All the different features they discussed in the Dynasty mode, the NIL, the transfer portal, the JUCOs, the recruiting, which in my opinion is the most important thing. If you don't nail that, you don't nail nothing. Take from NCAA 14 with the customizing the schedules, all the jerseys, the players can commit and then decommit. They didn't have that in NCAA 14. I don't ever remember them doing that. So how players commit and they're able to decommit if they don't want to stay. Just simple stuff like that. Like stuff like that matters to me. And recruiting matters because, like I said, the system in 14 was so buggy. It was so trash. Like you got a line that's telling me how many points I'm behind. And literally, I've had this multiple times happen in NCAA. I've had this happen to me multiple times on NCAA 14. I could legit be down 1,000 points, and then one off season, I'm past everybody. I've done it before. That's not realistic. If I'm down that many points, there is no way I'm catching up. Notre Dame could be up 3,000 points, and some one off season, I'm somehow in front of them. Not realistic. If a player has their mind set up on a team, they're going to go that way. So recruiting is necessary. Gameplay is necessary. But let's strictly talk dynasty. Like I said, you should be able to customize your coach, customize the player, create a player. You should create a team needs to be in this game. They're team builder / create a team. Forget team builder. Just give me strictly create a team. If you want to put team builder, I'm cool with that because custom logos and all that good stuff. But team builder / create a team needs to be in this game. Coaching contracts like NCAA 14, but upgraded version. I should be able to leave a team whenever I want to. Same way if I want to be offensive coordinator, defense coordinator. I should be a special teams coordinator. Most definitely should be added in there. For Road to Glory, I should be able to play more than just skill position. I don't want to just be a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, cornerback, safety, defensive tackle, defensive end, and linebacker. I want to be able to play offensive line, kicker, punter. Simple as that. Coaching mode. Coaching mode needs to be in this game. It should be no reason. 97-14 had it. Coaching mode as in like I literally just picked the play. I'm just literally the coach. There should be camera views to this too, so I should be seeing my coach walk up beside the sideline. I think that was what Madden head or NFL head coach 07, whatever it was. But a mode like that is tough. I love stuff like that. This is for hardcore guys now. Think about it, hardcore guys. That coaching mode has to be in the game. There should be no reason coaching mode it's not in the game. It was in 14. It should be in this. Everything from 14 you grab and you take it and you put it here and you amplify it to the absolute most. It's literally that simple. So coaching mode has to be in the game. Mascots, my God, mascot games have to be in this game, especially with the way the game's gonna look now graphically. So, mascot games have to be in this. That was one of the most fun things ever about it. I got a lot. Yeah, but that's one of them. I'm really big on Dynasty, man. Like I'm huge on Dynasty. Dynasty has to be good. And with the Dynasty, because I've heard from Kurt Herbstreit and Chris Fowler, they're going to have multiple commentary teams. So the big games are going to have Kurt and Chris Fowler, obviously, ESPN, boom. But there should be CBS, ABC, NBC for Notre Dame games, Fox. Like, they need to have these channels, those broadcast teams in there. They had it for NCAA basketball team where they had CBS and ESPN. There should be no reason in 2025 you cannot, or 2024 for a 2025 game. There should be no reason you shouldn't have all those broadcasting teams on there. That's a must. Gus Johnson, you got to have him and Joel. I can't pronounce the last name. But you got to have those two guys in there. Come on, bro. This is 2024. It's college football. We're back. We're grinding. We're better. For Road to Glory. You need to be able to transfer. If I'm not happy with my situation, I should be able to get up and go. You couldn't do it in 14. You'd be able to do it now. NIL deal should be added in Road to Glory for your character. If you get a big time NIL deal to go somewhere else, you should be able to hop up and leave just like that. It's literally that simple. It's just little things like that matter. They have to catch the global phenomenon that is college football. College football, the conference realignment with Pac-12 pretty much been non-existent. I don't know who the heck's still in Oregon State, Arizona State, I guess. I don't know. But the Pac-12 pretty much been non-existent. You should be able to switch back and forth, whatever team you want, different conferences. You should also be able to create a conference. If they had common sense, put that in the game. Create a conference. You want to create the big, big Wrestling Geek. That's something stupid like that. Wrestling Geek conference. I want to build Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia, all them big teams in there. I should be able to do that. I should have full control of Dynasty mode and Road to Glory. I should have full control. Also, Road to Glory should be like, how do I explain it? Like how I like how 2K does, how 2K my career, not my career, but 2K franchise, you can lock onto a player and pretty much make that a my career. I guess it's kind of like that. I love that. College football should take that and pretty much put it in the game. Also, another thing I like from 2K, when a player retires, they can become a coach. So when your player graduates and he doesn't want to go pro, he can join your coaching staff. That should be something else to put in the game. I know I'm speaking a lot right now because I'm just really excited for this game and more so just the gameplay trailer. They already said every team is going to sound authentic. The crowds, the chants, the noise level, the loudest stadiums. I believe all that. But the key component, in my opinion, is Dynasty mode. The pinnacle of the game is Dynasty mode. I know me and Tim talked about that last time. He thinks Road to Glory is important. Obviously, he said Dynasty is more important, but he emphasized Road to Glory. Not mad at it. Road to Glory has to be fun too because I want to be able to slide back and forth between different modes. Like I said, the Heisman mode with the Heisman winners of all time, they should be put in, especially updated version. The Dynasty, the Road to Glory, the situations they should put in the game with situations, different broadcast team. It's just so much that should be added into this game. It needs to be added into this game. And I'm just really excited for this month's reveal because I want to see how it goes. I mean, that's really it for y'all, man. It's just so much that this game can add. And I know Ultimate Team's going to be in there, but that should be bottom priority for them. If you want to just keep all that Ultimate Team garbage in Madden, let Madden keep that garbage and y'all just throw it in that game. Let this new game come out and just let it be strictly Dynasty, Road to Glory, Play Now, Practice, Create a Team. All those modes I just named, those need to be top priority. The Ultimate Team garbage can be at the bottom. You're still going to make your money. Nobody cares about that stuff, though. Don't ruin the game by trying to be greedy. Seriously. Because EA does that. This is what they do. So let's just get ready for July. Well, let's get ready for this full gameplay preview. You know, it's going to look all pretty flashy, but I don't care about none of that. I'm excited, but I'm more excited to see the actual gameplay. Also, I know this is off topic, but Maximum Football, what are you doing? Y'all had like 3 years, 4 or 5 years to get this game right. Your goal was to get it out before college football come out, so you still got 2 months, but now y'all talking about releasing around the same time. Not logical. But yeah, man, it's my first time doing this by myself on the page. Obviously done, and Tim will be here next week for the next week's episode. Everybody got different scheduling, kind of working different jobs, obviously. Different scheduling, everybody working on something different. We all are. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. As always, I know I was talking fast, but I talk fast when I get excited. Don't forget to subscribe to Wrestling Geek. Link will be in the description below for that, of course. And I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. We'll see y'all in the next video. Whether it's just me by myself, which again, it probably won't. But if it just be me by myself, Tim by myself, done by myself. Show us some love. And subscribe to the channel. We appreciate the growth that we've been getting also with our shorts too, because that's really helping. But we'll see y'all boys in episode 38.